Yeah. How we doing? All right, I got my monster, y'all. Are we ready to go to Liquidation, chat? Get filled but not mine. Previously on Kimba TV. So, value area low, settlement, value area high. The value area high is beyond the halfway point between the settlement, right? So, value. This is the 50% mark. Settlement is closer, which means that you really don't want to spend time or build value below value area high. Let's see here. Beer market, 5-hour rest. Kimba, what about you? I slept for like 3.5. I think I was up until like 2:30. Working on stuff. Beer market says, are you good? Man, I'm air mezzing, my boy. Juice. Yeah, you know what it is. I mean, what do you think? We're at basically 98 now. You see what I'm talking about? This shit making sense. Yeah, obviously it would have been nice to have like 1,000 Bitcoin long, but we'll take what we got. Not too shabby, huh? Riki says, did you TP? Yeah. Do you know how much I said that I would shave at 97.5? Yeah, so shaved a tiny bit, 5%, but yes. I did the right thing, and I did shave, yes. 98.3, I mean, you guys can see it. I don't know if, but 98.3, 98.2, single print. So it's right there right now. So, yeah. But make sure you rewind and get caught up. We talk about all the TPs, where you might have an opportunity to head short, TP if you want to, all of that. But yeah, long is killing it. Not too shabby, huh? Beer market says those bottom shorts were juicy. Yes, sir. And they haven't gotten stopped out yet. So we'll continue to see if we can get a little bit of squeeze, huh? What you guys think, though? I mean, you guys have been here for a minute. Hands up. Hands up if you were here from this day. And we said, yo, this shit's going to get swept, man. And sure enough, got swept. Hidden bull div. Open interest, bottom shorts. Structure, failed auction, right on the RTH gap. What do you guys think? Not too bad, huh? Grim says, settlement long for today if we get. So Grim, I don't know how long you've been watching me, not long enough, but anytime somebody asks if they should long or short a level, do you know what I say? Basically, anytime when somebody says, hey, should we long here? Hey, should we short here? Tells me you haven't been here long enough. I don't long or short levels. I long or short data. Yeah. So my question to you is, if we get to settlement and we have zero bullish data, are you still going to long it? Do you know what bullish data looks like? That's really, in my opinion, Grim, those kind of questions are exactly why you may not already be in a long from 94. Things like that will be the reason why you don't end up taking a perfect, 94 long and you want to wait for 91 instead. So being able to see the data, anticipate the data is going to give you the conviction to take a trade. The lack of data is always going to make you pussyfoot. So if you don't have this, if it goes to settlement and I'm looking for this, this, and this, you're probably going to pussyfoot it, and or you're going to take a long when you shouldn't. So just make sure that you know exactly what kind of data you're looking for. Grim says, just asking if that level is good to long. No, data is the best. Yeah. Because, for example, if you want to long, do you want to be in a long when the open interest is spiking up? Probably not, right? You usually want the first candle to kind of arrive, the second one to stop out. So it might not be a good level if you see a spike in open interest because everybody else is longing it with you on the first tap. So the only way that it's going to tell you if it's good to long is the data, right? So if it goes down there and on the arrival candle you get a spike in open interest, then you might want to wait another 30 minutes. Sounds good? If you were going to long, Grim, do you want longers to get stopped out first? Or you want longs to still be underwater? You see this guy, right? 22 million long. So regardless of if you get to settlement or not, don't you want this guy closed out? Would you take the long as settlement if this guy isn't closed out? These are the questions that you want to ask. Not, is settlement a good long? Make sense? You saw it? Okay, so you know what it is? But I want you to have your plan already thinking. You shouldn't need me to ask you these rhetorical questions, right? So I like that you identified the level, but you need to be more explicit in what data would make you take it. Okay? Because you'll pussyfoot the long down there if you don't exactly know what data you're gonna go off of. But you've been here long enough to know what I like, right? You know that I like open interest, right? I like it when longs get stopped out and bottom shorts come in, right? You know that I like hidden CVD bull div, right? You know what structure looks like, right? So you know what a swing fail looks like. You know what a failed auction looks like. You know what a 3 drives looks like. You know what a Kimba Crown looks like, right? You know what S&P Confluence looks like, right? So trust what you see, my guy, okay? And last but not least, I don't want you to just sit there and have a plan A, okay? Don't be talking about, well, Kimba said I shouldn't take a long if the $22 million long doesn't get stopped out. Do you have a plan in case this guy doesn't get stopped out? Don't just be sitting there picking your nose talking about, but Kimba said I should wait for the... What do you mean? What if it just taps the single print, it pixel fucks the single print and the long isn't closed, but it starts to have a V-shaped recovery? How are you going to chase it? How far are you going to chase it? I want you to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, my guy. You good? You're not going to get the perfect entry that you're waiting for or the perfect setup, right? It might be a little bit too slow. It might be a little bit too fast. It might not get open interest. It might not give you the divergence. It might not give you S&P Confluence. So just have those plans and be ready to execute.
He told me, he said, what did he say?
Sounds
he just
good.
told us to be prepared.
So I like where you identified the level, but make sure you keep an eye on everything and have those plans ready to go, my boy. Ka-choo! You Gucci. And then, you know, kind of remember what we say about Thursdays and Fridays. You know what I mean? Because Grim, man, I would love on Monday next week to like clean the overnight lows or something, you know? You guys know what we have next week? You guys know what we have next week, ladies and gentlemen? Kacho Ishibaya. All right. So this is Tuesday. Wednesday. Thursday, we got GDP, and Friday, we got PCE. Let's get it. So next Thursday, next Friday is going to be Juicy Maguchi. All right, and remember what we talked about in terms of PCE specifically? So a little bit of finessing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Tatri Kudzu says, my friend, are you bullish or bearish? I would just say make sure you get caught up on the YouTube highlights, man. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, smaller time frame, we're a little bit bearish, right? 98,350 is the single print, right? On CME. So we talked about that for the last couple days. But longer time frame, we're in a 94 long, right? So we've been waiting for the 94 long for about 2 weeks to Trikutsu. All right. And then we talked about how 97.5, obviously this has been here for quite some time, but all that is kind of resistance. Yeah, but we're talking about everything days and weeks in advance. And so what we're talking about is plans for next Friday, for example, brother, right? So make sure that, you know, you don't fall behind too far. Like, we're talking about GDP and PCE for next Thursday and Friday right now. Like, I'm already thinking about next week and Monday. You feel me? So don't be the dickhead that shows up on Monday. Hey, are you bullish or bearish? You should be juicing with us. You know how many lions have a 94K long? I think collectively, like, we're up like 15, 20 million. There's like 800, 700 lions that longed 94 with me. And a lot of them have better entries than I do, to be honest. So, yeah, make sure you get caught up. We TP'd at 97.5. Can we give it up for single prints? Can we give it up for levels, man? The math is the math. I got a little pink, shaved a little bit, levels identified. We had some lions already asking, hey, is the settlement going to be a good long? Dick Flex says, last week you said we could reject from 98,000. At the moment it's pixeling again. Yeah, it's just identifying levels, level to level. So no real surprises, you heard me? You have no idea how many times I said 97.5 and 95 are the two levels. Yesterday we were here all day and I said, hey, 97.5 level of interest and 95, and we were smack dab in the middle. Yeah, so if you're surprised about CME single print, whether it's 98.2, I mean, I even threw out the number 98 for derivatives, and I believe it pixel fucked 98, did it not? Yeah, so 97.5, 98, I mean, that zone right there has been talked about for a couple of days now. All right, so yeah, it shouldn't have surprised you, brother. That's just kind of bad preparation. All right. But yeah, it's just identify levels, man. All day yesterday, we were talking about, hey, there's a potential short if you want to, and look at Bugambas.
He just told us to be prepared.
All right. So as long as you didn't like long up there, and as long as you didn't short right there, you're fine. You know, I don't care if you took the short. I don't care if you took the long. Just don't get got. You feel me? Just don't get got. You know, math is the math, man. I mean, are we surprised that it's pixel fucking $1 trillion market cap? My ass. How is Bugama pixel fucking like this? You think I'm surprised that we're bouncing a little bit off of Bugama? Quit playing with me. You know, just don't get got, chat. This shit is easy. It doesn't get any easier than this. Have your levels identified to the upside. Have your levels identified to the downside, and then read the data when it gets there. Is it reacting bullishly or is it reacting bearishly? So I'm about to go reload the bong, man. There's probably people that haven't slept all night that are just fucking snorting cocaine and Adderall right now. And they're, you know, top longing and bottom shorting. So I'm just trying to figure out how many carbs I can eat today.
Not enough Latushi.
That's the only thing that I got to figure out. Everything else is six-figure juice, automatic. But there's probably motherfuckers that are just snorting Adderall right now, trying their best, still fucking top longing and bottom shorting. I'm just reloading my giant bong, man. All right, math is math, easy money. How long have we been talking about and waiting for that 94 RTH long? Okay, did everybody see everything that I showed? Open interest, so bottom shorts getting trapped, longers getting squeezed. Did everybody see the divergence, the hidden bull div? Did everybody see the 5-minute failed auction, the structure? How many of y'all have been here long enough to know that I've been talking about 97.5 and we obviously this single print, this naked point of control, these levels have all been here, but 97.5, 98, depending on what you heard and how long you were here. Did I not say yesterday that it's either 95 or 97.5 and we're smack dab in the middle and you just got to be patient? I'm pretty sure I uttered the words, you might have an opportunity. If you want a short, you can, you might have an opportunity. If you want a long, you might have an opportunity. Are you guys prepared? Nobody should be surprised, chat. You know?
He just told us to
Everybody was here when we talked about this for Monday? Everybody was here when we talked about this for Monday, right? And then we know what GDP and PCE is next week, right? I already have like an idea for tomorrow because it's Friday. I already have an idea for, the rest of today. Like, let's say, for example, it loses settlement, right? Does everybody know like what it would mean if it loses settlement? All right, everybody have a plan on what to do? What about people in 94 longs? Have you been thinking about worst case scenario? Where are you going to start shaving significant amounts if you haven't already? Did you TP at 97.4, 98, 97.5, 98? Just be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get got. You heard me? Don't get got. That's it. Let's do the damn thing. Everybody good to go? Happy Thursday, man. The math is the math, and the juice is the juice, and the Bugama is the Bugama. It is February 20th, chat. So, where did we start February, ladies and gentlemen? Right here. This candle right here. So, how many of y'all have been with me for all of February? Hands up if you've been rocking and rolling with me. February. A cut choy. Straight cut choy up in this bitch, am I right? And how many of you guys were here on this long attempt? Shout outs to the 886 motherfuckers. All right, but shout outs to people still rocking the 91.5. You heard me? That 91.5 has always been kind of an interesting level, am I right? But shout outs to, what was that? When was that? February 3rd? So shout outs to motherfuckers that's still rocking and rolling on that long. Let's get it. Shout outs to the February 12th lions that we were waiting on the RTH gap for. All right. And then shout outs to the February 18th, aka Dirty Tuesday, back from the markets. RTH fill on RTH gap fill, but not mine. What do you guys think? Yeah, so I mean that's basically been the February juice, right? Now, how many of you guys were with me towards the latter half of January when we started talking about, I think the first 2, maybe even 3 weeks of February could be what? Do you remember what we were talking about? Middle of January, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of what we think the first couple of weeks of February could be. Not trying to predict the future, but understanding data. And how many of y'all knew that we were going to be looking for longs? Right? So higher time frame stuff, planning, preparing, not too bad, right? And that's why it's so important, I think, for us to be able to think things out days and weeks ahead. So maybe it helps us to get into positions, but more importantly, we don't get got. You know, we don't end up top longing. We don't end up bottom shorting, right? And just being anticipatory and preparing, you know, and not just preparing for one plan, but having a plan A, plan B, plan C, because you never know how slow or how fast something might be. You don't know if it needs to gap fill. You don't know if it needs to grab all the single prints. You don't know if it needs that last regular div. Just understanding where you're at. Next week, what do we have next week, ladies and gentlemen? Thursday, GDP, and Friday, our friend Jerome Powell's favorite indicator, PCE, right? And then that's going to lead into CPI next month. And then ultimately, all of these longs, we are trying to front run a what? Rate cut. So, you know, it would be great. You guys know what it is. It would be great to, you know, stay within this range, turn point of control into support, change structure, blah, blah, blah. Maybe even go up to the value area high. I don't give a shit, you know. But ultimately, the rate cut happens, FOMC, next month. And that gives us the catalyst to reach for new all-time highs, right? So from a higher time frame standpoint, even going all the way back to, you know, middle of January, beginning of January, you know, kind of all the way through, you know, what I'm expecting this year to be, which is bullish, right? Plans really haven't changed. You feel me on that, Lions? Higher time frame shit. You guys with me? You with me so far? All right. So we don't get bullish on penetration. We get bullish on blank. All right. So as we go into next week, I kind of already, you guys remember what I said about what would be really cool that we do next Monday? Even if you don't specifically remember what I said exactly, it's the idea that it's Thursday and I'm already thinking about Monday, and which helps me think about Friday, which helps me think about today. And so it's really just the idea that I think preparation and planning helps us. Sounds good? And the more that you prepare and the more that you trust your preparation, I think it's easier to have conviction, and it's harder to pussyfoot. Y'all with me so far? Where I'm at. You know what I mean? We were talking about the first 2-3 weeks of February could be bearish, right? All right, if it is going to be bearish, you know, where could we go? How low could it go? What would be tolerable, right? This is the daily. How many of you guys have been rocking and rolling with me on this fixed range volume profile on the daily? How many of y'all were here when we answered the question about why I started mine where I did and why we said this is one different thing, this is a different range? You know, when we did the point of control here, we found some value, point of control, right? Value area low. So these aren't kind of surprising, right? And so that doesn't surprise us, right? How many of you guys were here on Thursday, Friday last week when I said, look, we want that low to come in on Tuesday, Wednesday when we come back, Monday, Tuesday when we come back? How many of y'all were here for that Vegas, Miami? And Lions, I don't really give a shit if you got a long. I don't care if you wanted to take a long, but you wanted the 91.5. You missed the gap fill, the settlement yesterday, so you're still, you know, sitting on your hands, picking your nose, talking about where bullish retest. Dot. I think you can do this on a lot of the legacy altcoins, and so the big 6, the big 7 that we were talking about, conceptually, it's all just about where would people, the most amount of people, get bearish and sell their spot or bottom short, but sell their spot. Because that's where everybody is, like, you know, opportunistic motherfuckers is going to be buying. So it depends on if you think and when you think ETH has the potential to either clean the 2000 level or even breach into the 1600s. All right, Fibception. So like you can see it, right? That low, that collection of lows. Okay, so I think like seeing that and guessing that isn't really that hard. If you want to start to talk about, do these lows get, you know, does this hold? Possible. You know, you might be able to have like a long, you know, but these would be like your invalidations. Any sort of long that you're going to take before the 3.5, your 3.7, 3.8 is your invalidation. So you might be able to, you know, these are daily candles. And so maybe on the 4 hour or maybe on the volume candles, you know, on a Fibonacci pullback at the 7.5, you see a hidden bull div, 7.5 Fibonacci, single print grab, whatever, but there is no, I mean, at this point, everything has been grabbed like Bitcoin. So maybe like here or here. All right, Fibception, any questions? And really, if 3.5 isn't going to get grabbed, does it really matter if your entry is $4 or $5 or $6 or anything in between if we're aiming for all of those imbalances? Does it really matter if your spot average entry is $4.50 or $5 or $5.50 or $6? You know what? And we talked about this earlier in the morning today too, Fibception. But sometimes the entry really doesn't matter. You know what I like sometimes? Is when it's a really easy invalidation. So if I am going to take a long at $5 or if I am going to take a long at $5.50, I know exactly where my invalidation is. And so I know that if I'm wrong and I can get it closed out. You know? Sometimes like it's okay to stay on the 14 because you're hoping that the dealer busts. Make sense? All right, Fibception. So start with what kind of environment or what kind of scenario would foster or increase the probabilities of being able to get that 3.5 sweep? There is a very good chance, and I could make an argument, and you should be able to as well, that 3.5 doesn't get swept. Okay? Way later, maybe it gets swept. Okay? Meaning, Bitcoin doesn't lose this low. Okay? And if it doesn't, then we're going to make new highs. And then maybe after some shit here, or maybe more time up here, you know, then on something like this, we go and clean it. So there is a good argument, like you don't necessarily have to go and grab that 3.5. So you need to have a plan on what to do if there is no chance to get a 3.5. All right. And if you're talking about spot, well, like I said, does it really matter if you get spot at $5.50, $5, $4.50, $4, $3.50, $3, if we're going to be aiming for 60 or 55? So, sounds good? Fibception? Yeah, and if you are going to start buying, you know, spot when it dips below 4, I like that. But again, be careful about paying attention to ETH, BTC, and the narrative, you know. I remember the .com boom. I remember the real estate boom. There was even like a little bit of like a social media boom, like a clearing. Like I've talked about when we might have a little bit of a nuke and like I don't want to say apocalypse, but really just a capital reallocation. I think some of these shit coins are gonna die and need to die. You know, why would you want money that could be in your winning project be sustaining a dying project? You know, and like if we're really purely tech enthusiasts and technologists, then we know damn well that shitty tech, like, needs to die off. Good riddance. Bye. You know, and the faster we get rid of useless shit, the faster we get rid of the fat, trim the fat and lose the bloat, the faster we can progress in crypto and help us juice the fuck up on the long run, right? So yeah, that's what we're looking at, brother. Thank you for everything. Will do and try my best eyeing ETH, BTC, and don't get so stuck on a level. For sure. And Fibception, you know what we can do, brother, is if it loses $4, holler at me. You know? And we can take a look at it together. And at that point, I will probably be taking some positions on the 100K to 1 mil derivative and 100K to 1 mil spot challenge. You know? But anything below 4, no brainer. You know? And as long as DOT is under $3.50, I mean, we'll be paying attention to it. And what's something, Fibception, that would be really interesting to see? For example, we might not get a swing fail, okay? But we might end up getting a really fast 5-minute failed auction. That might be good enough. All right. And I don't know if you know how to look at it, but we can pull up the open interest on DOT and see if we have bottom shorters trapped at 3.5. Hey, chat, we'll see if this bitch has enough room to run it up to, you know, at least 108, 109, right? A lot of where or how high it could go is going to be up to who? These motherfuckers. Don't ask me where the top is. Ask these guys when they're going to close their shit. Kimba, how high could this go, Kimba? I don't. Ask these guys. Ask them where they're going to close their short. You know? I don't know. So, am I saying that this is a straight shot to 130? Fuck no. Are we going to take it level by level? Yep. But it's really gonna, for me at least, you know, we got the RTH sweep. We had the low come in on Monday or Tuesday. So I don't want that low to get revisited anymore. Right? I got everything that I wanted, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe you, for some reason or another, didn't see it, even though I was talking about it and showing it. But regardless of if you were anticipating it or if you saw it in real time, how cool is it to see a hidden bull div, longs getting stopped out, big money? I mean, because you guys have been around. How many times have you heard me say, I want at least 40, 50 million trapped, right? And a lot of times it does not happen. Holy fuck, we just had 100 million, 90 million, right? In bottom shorts trapped. Y'all saw that live with me now. So some of you guys have maybe have heard me talk about, hey, I want open interest edge. I want structural edge. I want divergence edge. All right? And you got to see the most pixel perfect, mathematical, 4 for 4, Tom Brady-esque, you know, hidden CVD bull div, a shit ton of open interest cooperation, i.e. longs getting stopped out and bottom shorts coming in, and a 5-minute failed auction. All right, and we'll take our shots. You know how I feel about Friday, okay? If you really want to take a nice short or a really nice long, it's better to wait for Monday, right? So we'll have some fun tomorrow. We'll do our best, obviously, and identify levels, but, you know, let's not get too carried away either. Sounds good? Salute!